Okay, so what you're about to see is the actual Schoology course that we created, where the teachers would go each day and each week to see what we were going to do and how they could practice um, what they had chosen. Again, it starts with, of course, a help button if you need it. It's called Flexible Learning Cohort 1. That's where we're at. The Flexible Learning Cohort will learn to teach in a flexible learning environment. We're going to do 4Cs: form of assessment, problem-based, project-based, SAMR, and we're looking to personalize this whole process. We begin with a video on how to navigate the course, and then we get right into session 1, which you saw the calendar earlier. It had the schedule, the introduction, the pre-assessment, and in this area they could actually go in and take the pre-assessment in these situations. We gave them confession cam, the pre-assessment, the confession cam, follow-up, and then we all interacted inside, we kind of all met together inside the confession cams, which were a lot of fun, really. I must say that we all did it. There I am. We all put our confessions in there, responded to each other. It was a neat way to get started. And yeah, so like I said, we had to lower that effective filter that everyone had it already up. They didn't know us. They didn't know if they could trust us. And so we had to make sure we broke that down first. So we spent the first morning really just doing that. Then we challenged assumptions. Then we did guided work sessions. We began our unit planning. And of course, we always had a section called resources. So if there's anything we shared that day, we dropped it right into the resource section, including Socratic seminars, brainstorming resources. Of course, these are things that I would do actually to make sure we knew how to brainstorm. Yeah. So that was the first day. Very draining day, but we created a relationship at that time that was really powerful. Day session 2, we moved into universal design for learning. Here was the content we had to get across. We knew we had to get them to think from the end in mind, reduce the amount of material they were going to cover, ask themselves, this was a key question we asked for them was, if someone's going to go into this profession, how will they use this? Inversely, if they never go into this profession, if they never use it again, what do you want them to take away? So those are the things we did. Session 3, and of course next steps was moving on to the next. We were going to use 4Cs, form of assessment, personalized learning. This is what was coming next. We always gave an up next is what we were going to do. We got into the face-to-face and flex, face-to-face and flex. So we did a lot of project prep at this point, and we did a lot of that. So we tried to model the way we wanted them to teach, so we didn't want them in front of us all the time. We gave them places to go. There was food to have. We tried to create a lighter environment for them to work, and it really seemed to pay off well. We also created a sandbox for them in almost every category, and I'll show you that sandbox later. But that sandbox was a place for them to try out things, put it up there, and let us look it over for them. So as they were creating, they would go in and drop it into the sandbox. Session 4, of course, was the final one, and in the final session, this is where they did their peer review. This is where we put them on the hot seat, tell them all the amazing things they did, and also do the peer conference, peer review, things they really had never done before as teachers when trying something innovative. I think they were too afraid to do that, but this was a no evaluation time. This was a way for them just to spread their wings. Full group discussion, where we looked at everybody else's things, shared out what we did well and what we did poorly, and then portfolio work and individual conferences where we met with each person to go over their conference each. So we met with each one of them to discuss what was going well, what was tough, and then I filled in the rest of that dashboard with their post-assessments. This is where we shared pre-assessments. They already gave their students their pre-assessments earlier to see what they knew and see if we had impacted any learning. Okay, so that is the course itself. I told you we'd given them a sandbox to go into. These are all the courses we teach here. Flexible learning cohort sandbox. So this is the sandbox. So let's just take Cirillo, for example, our username. So this was his pre-assessment. We had to give all his students pre-assessments to figure out how they felt about online learning, whether the blended, whether they felt flexible learning. So these are the questions they had. And then he would put in his things, tentative unit structure for Las Orillas de Tormes, project resources, those kinds of things. So these are the things we put in there to help build his repertoire up. The mini project rubric, all project-based things. Okay, that's about it for the actual course, and that's how it went. This was an excellent structure for us. We have some things to tweak, but it did go well.